Okay, so thank you for coming, ladies. I want to introduce myself because I don't think I've met you. My name is Michelle Weinstein. I'm an advanced director in New Hampshire, and I have been with a Pampered Chef for 18 years. So been around a long time. Um, Tonight is Sunday, July 23rd, and we're on week 7 of the team leader training. And tonight we're going to be talking about the full service checkout. Now, whether you do live parties or whether you do Facebook parties, there's always a wrap up. There's always a, okay, everybody, thank you for your attention. We're going to be wrapping up our party. Here's how to do orders, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to be focusing on the live full service checkout, but certainly you can adapt this to your Facebook ones as well. So anything that we teach you on one can be sort of used for the other. So how many of you do a version of a full service checkout? You both do? Okay, Ashley, you do. So we can also call it a wrap up, but it's really during our whole entire presentation or our whole entire week of Facebook parties, we have been presenting products. We have presenting the benefits of hosting a party. We have been presenting the advantages of starting your own Pampered Chef business. But the full service checkout is where we invite. We've been informing all through our party. Full service checkout is really where we then invite. And the success of a full service checkout, especially in a live party, it's often determined long before the guests come up to place their orders. So when you're doing a live party and you're setting up the checkout ahead of time, so when you go through the door, first thing you shouldn't be asking is, okay, host, where's the groceries? You can be saying, oh, hi, nice to see you again. Hey, I'm going to be dropping my bags. Where would be a good place for me to take orders? And what I like to do is I like to look for a place that's sort of outside the action. If I'm doing my demo in the kitchen and she has a dining room, I like to be in the dining room so I can still kind of hear what's going on in the kitchen, but people have a place to come to kind of talk to me one-on-one. Kind of think of it as a confessional, except I don't hear any juicy stuff. So I like to set right up there. So I set up my laptop, or actually I bring my iPad. I set up my calendar. I set all my paperwork up over there. The next thing I do is I ask the host for her internet password. I don't ask her for the password. I will put my iPad on to settings and I will hand it to her and I'll say, it's best if we have internet connection when it comes time to place orders. Do you know your password? If so, would you mind putting it in here so I can hook up to your Wi-Fi? I don't know how to use the app. There's an app that you have on your phone. I'm sure it works very well. However, I prefer getting on Wi-Fi. So make sure you have everything that you need right there in front of you. So when it comes time to take orders, you're not running around going, yeah, I got a calculator. I got some pens, I think. Calendar? Well, yeah, maybe. So you want to be professional because this is your business. Another thing, and you can do it for Facebook parties as well as live parties, is you want to connect with the guests as they arrive at the Facebook party or as they walk through the door. Ask how they know the host. I know in my Facebook parties, I incorporate that into part of the party. And then I ask like a follow-up question. So for instance, Kathy, if you came through the door, and I was a consultant at a party and my host was Sharon, I would say, oh, hi, my name is Michelle and you are, and hopefully you'd say Kathy. And I'd say, nice to meet you, Kathy. How do you know Sharon? And you would probably say, oh, I work with Sharon or I'm her neighbor or something. And I'll say, oh, where do you work? Or what do you do at Sharon's office? Or, oh, so you live in the same neighborhood. So it's introducing yourself, getting the name of the guest, and asking one follow-up question. I know when I was a brand new consultant, what I did, because I was so extremely shy, was I would set up my demo and I would stand there with my hands folded or put in the pockets of my apron, just kind of looking around, waiting until it was time to start the demo. It wasn't because I was unfriendly. It was because I was extremely shy. And guess what kind of a message that sends to the guests? Here's a consultant who is putting on a demo, is going to be interacting with us, and she's ignoring us. So you definitely want to connect with your guests right away. Be curious, gather information so you can figure out how to best serve their needs. So if Kathy just came through the door and said, well, I know Sharon because I used to work with her, but I lost my job last week. Okay, that's going to be a red flag for me that maybe Kathy needs some additional income. Okay, so I'm going to store that in my brain. So when I do the full service checkout with Kathy later, I can, ask her if she has any income needs. You also want to start the show on time within 15 minutes of the start time. So if you're doing a live party, the worst that can happen is that people are invited to be there at 7, and you have those people who are actually on time, and the host has some friends who don't show up till 7:20. And the host is saying, oh yeah, I just have one more person. Can we wait till she comes? Meanwhile, the people who showed up at 7 o'clock, they're looking at their watch saying, hey, we were on time and she's making us wait 20 minutes for people who are late. Be respectful of the time of the host and be respectful of the time of the guests that actually came on time. Because then you're creating a culture that, oh gosh, you don't have to get to Michelle's show very early. She never starts on time. So you definitely do not want to do that culture. If you're doing a live demo, do one recipe. So the show doesn't go on and on and on. That means that people are going to be watching the clock. They might have to get home because they have a babysitter. They might have to get home because their husband doesn't know how to put your children to bed. And so they have to go home to do that. And of course, I used to circle around the city if I was early coming back from a show, so the kids would be in bed by the time I got home. But if you are really late and people are in a hurry, they're going to just throw their orders at you and leave, and you're not going to have the time to make that personal connection with them after the party. So try to be on time. When you are done with your demo, be specific about how the checkout will go so there isn't a long line of people waiting to give you their orders. A great thing to say is, okay, everybody, thank you all for coming. Sharon, our host, is going to be serving the cake. So if you do want to place an order, you just want to fill one of these out, please do not put any payment information on your order form. Do not put checks with your order form. If you know what you want, just kind of fill this out with your info, what you want, and go place it over at my portable office over on the dining room table. Get yourself a glass of wine, have yourself a piece of cake, and I will call you up to process your order in the order with which it was received. So then there's not this big long line of people. They're socializing, they're eating cake, and they're waiting for me to call them. So I'll pick the order that I got first, and I'll say, hey, Susie, I'm ready for you. Susie will come over. I'll do my full service checkout with her. Then I'll pick up the next order, and I'll say, oh, would you send Mary over? Makes it orderly, gives you time to spend one-on-one with that person without that big long line, which frankly makes me nervous because I feel like I have to rush through it. So we're sitting down at the full service checkout, one-on-one, hopefully. You want to smile, you want to make eye contact, but you want to set the order aside to chat for a minute. I know, especially when we're brand new, we want to see how much the order is. But more importantly, we want to connect with that guest and see how we can best fulfill what she really needs or what we think she needs. So you want to ask a couple of icebreaker questions instead of just looking at the order. For instance, Cindy's right here, right now, and I think I've done this with Cindy at a training before. So Cindy, did you have a good time at our party? Oh, she's nodding. Is your,
Wonderful.
oh, yes,
Yes.
that's what you want to say. Oh, yeah, you had a good time. What'd you think of the cake?
My
I can hear you. You say, what did you
was
think of the cake?
delicious. Thank you.
Oh, of course it's delicious. I made it. I mean, there's nothing I make that's not delicious. Did you get everything on your wish list? I saw you furiously writing things down as I was talking about them. Did you get everything that you wanted? Did you get everything you wanted on your wish list, Cindy? I'm talking to Cindy.
No,
No.
no,
Did you blow your
no.
budget and you were only on page 5? Okay, well, that's what most people do. Not everybody can get everything that they want um, at the time of our party. And so then I take a look at her order. And I might say something about, oh, I noticed that you were asking a lot of questions, about the business opportunity. So were you, I'm curious, what kind of got you interested in asking questions? What kind of interested you most about the business? And Cindy might say, oh, it was kind of interesting to see how much money you can make. And then I can say something along the lines of, well, do you need some additional income? So you're opening up the window to ask them if they, what they do, if they have any, any need to make some additional income. She's the one that brought it up. I'm just kind of following it up. And then I have her little door prize slip here, because remember during the show we're passing out the door prize slips and she's circling a number of her interests. And I'll say, well, Cynthia, I see you circled a 7 about the business. What makes it a 7 for you? And Cindy might say something along the lines of, well, it sounds really interesting, but I have 13 kids, because she does. And I have 2 jobs. So I really don't see how I could make this work. And so then I would listen and respond appropriately, something along the lines of, wow, you have 2 jobs already. May I ask what you do? And then Cindy will tell me that, she's a teacher and she also does daycare part-time. And I'd say something about, well, you seem to love the products. You were really hooting and hollering about all those products and everything that you already own. Have you ever thought about perhaps replacing one of those part-time jobs with Pampered Chef as part-time? I don't know how much you make with what you're doing, but certainly you heard me say that Pampered Chef consultants make about $25 an hour when they go out to a party. Is this something that you'd like to know more about? Notice I didn't say, do you want to drop everything and start your own business now? Although there are a lot of consultants who say, were you interested? We could order your kit tonight. If she was a 10 for the business, I would probably say, which one of those kits did you have your eye on? You can certainly get it tonight. Invite them to order their kit right there, right at the show. You can certainly do that. But Cindy was a 7 about the business, so I was asking her a little bit more information. So what we want to do is, it's not necessarily wanting to get them to sign up that night, although if it's a 10, there's no reason they shouldn't. We want to get them a conversation started with them about what they feel that they would get out of the business. For instance, you can say, instead of spending $85, which you're going to, another $15 would get you a starter kit, with $450 worth of products. What do you think? Do you want to give this a shot? I mean, what have you got to lose? What have you got to lose is not a yes or no question, is it? It's a what have you got to lose?
I have a question.
Yeah. Was it a question?
I have a question.
Yep.
Okay, what if I have a show in process right now, and if it's not closed, could I still go back and ask her that type of question?
Oh, absolutely.
Instead of closing this as my show, are you interested in closing it as your first show if you sign up for the business? I mean, I would kind of lose something? Wouldn't I like a commission on the show? But
You would. Yes, you
yeah,
would. But is this a host or a guest
a
that you're
host.
thinking of? A host. Yeah, I definitely would not say something like that to a
Okay.
guest.
Right.
But for a host, yes, if she's very interested, I've done that before where I've said, you know, you can consider this your training show, and you can actually go out and get some additional orders on your own to kind of make this into your show. We would show you how to put it in. You'd have to order your kit because she has to get her consultant number before she puts in a show. But yeah, we can talk
Oh, I
about
see.
that, Cindy, because these guests are
Well,
expected.
what about with the double host reward? What about the double host rewards? Would it be like you can get your kit for 200 and some, or is it only a
No,
certain amount?
the the
Okay.
the the most that Pampered Chef gives off the kit is $50. They want
Okay.
consultants to have a vested interest in the starter kit, so
Yeah.
they don't give them away. There's going to be some sort of
Yeah.
monetary plunk down so that people are serious about
Yeah.
actually using the kit the way it's supposed to be used. But yeah, we can talk
Okay.
about that after, you know, how to do something like that. So do you see what we're doing here with Cindy? We're going through the questions of the full service questions, but we are getting a conversation going with Cindy. That's why it's best not to have people throw orders at you, because then I wouldn't be able to ask Cindy, you know, what makes it a 7 for you about the business? What were you most excited about the business during the question and answer period type of thing. So we're getting that conversation going with Cindy. Your director can give you the 3-question full service checkout to have right in front of you. So when you're doing your full service checkout, you have those 3 questions that you're going to be asking each guest when you're talking to them in person. If they're not ready to join your team or to sign up that night, the goal is to get them to say yes to a conversation. They might say, I'm too busy right now. And you can say, oh, talking to me isn't about signing up right now. It's about getting the information you need to sign up if and when the time is right for you. So if you bring home some information, it doesn't mean you're signing up to get your starter kit. It means that you're bringing some more information home to get some more information to make a decision that would be right for you. If they say, I'm not sure if this is for me, you can say, of course you're not sure. You don't have all of the information you need yet to make a decision. That's what talking to me is about, getting the information you need to make an informed decision. So you don't know if it's right or not for you until we have a further conversation. Someone could say, oh my gosh, I could never do this. And then you could say, well, that's what I thought too, until I got more information and I learned about the training and support. So before you make your decision final, how about getting the information you need to make a truly informed decision? Would you like to take one of these brochures, the Come Join Us brochure? And, you know, I can follow up with you, or ladies, if you're brand new, you can say, can I have the person that's training me get in touch with you to help answer your questions? Because as brand new consultants, you are not expected to conduct a question and answer with a brand new potential recruit. Like Cindy met somebody at a show 2 weeks ago, and Cindy and I had a 3-way conversation with this recruit lead because Cindy's brand new as well. So you're not expected to do that. Mention referrals. You can offer a Come Join Us brochure for them to give out to someone they know, or in case their life situations change down the road. I like to say, you know, if this is not for you, would you mind taking this flyer home anyway? You know, I love referrals, and you may know somebody who has a definite need for income or a night out or some free products. I do love referrals, and I tell people I give a referral bonus. And it's true. If someone refers somebody to me and they book a party or join my team, you know, I usually give them a $10 gift at the party that's booked, or someone joins my team, I might give them a $20, you know, gift certificate that they can redeem through me or something. Then you're going to be looking at the order and the products after you've had that thorough conversation with them about the business opportunity. You can be looking at the order and saying, oh, so did you get everything on your wish list? Most people will say no. So you can say, so am I coming over to do one of those death by chocolate parties at your house? Or you can say, so if you didn't get everything on your wish list, you know, how about next month you get your friends to come over, I'll come over, we'll do a Thrill of the Grill party, and we'll get the rest of those items for you on your wish list. Do you notice that I didn't say, do you want to book a party? Do you know why I don't say that? Because that sounds like a lot of work. Is that what you're going to say, Ashley?
It's easy to say no.
Yes. Yeah. Do you want to book a party? Yeah. That's a yes or no question. Okay. But also booking a party to someone who's sitting there, this is what's going through their mind. I have to clean my house, put the dogs in the crate, have my husband take the kids out to McDonald's for dinner, ask him to keep them at the playground until everybody leaves. Oh my gosh, I don't want to have a party. It's too much work. But if I say, do you want to get your friends together next month for you know, a grilling show and get the rest of what you want for free? Well, that sounds a little bit more enticing than booking a party. You're going to hear some hesitations when they say that as well. You're going to hear, I don't know enough people. You're going to hear, my house is too small. Although if you're doing Facebook parties, your house is never too small. You're going to hear, I can't right now. There's a solution to every single hesitation. If it was a true no, you would hear, and you would probably see it like this. No, I am not having people over next month for a grilling party. I do not want to have people over to my house. I do not want more things for free. I do not want you to come. I do not want to go on a free shopping spree with a pamper check. Whoa, there's nowhere you can go with that. But if you're sitting there and you ask them if they got everything they wanted and they say no, and you ask about coming over next month for Death by Chocolate, you might say, oh, my house is too small. That's a hesitation we can work with. Because what I usually say to that is, oh my gosh, it doesn't matter what size your house is. You know, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've done parties in really big houses and parties in really small houses. It's not how big or small your house is, it's how many friends want to get together for chocolate. Which sounds very reasonable, doesn't it? I'm not trying to tell her house isn't too small. I'm trying to tell her that we can fit people into whatever she's got. Another thing that I'll say, if they say my house is too small or I don't know enough people, I will usually say something like, oh my gosh, you know, where do you work? And they'll say where they work. Oh my gosh, you must know lots of people there. You must have neighbors. You must have relatives. Are you married? And they may say yes. Did you invite people to your wedding? Yes. How many people did you invite to your wedding? About 150. You know people. And I can help you work with a list of people that you may not think you know to get a great big guest list ready for you. So is it something that you'd like to do? So I've listened to their hesitation, I've come up with a solution, and I've extended the question again. Is this something that you'd like to do? I don't know enough people and my house is too small, that can be solved with one solution: co-hosting. You co-host with a friend. Your friend who might have a bigger house and knows a lot of people can open up her home. You invite your friends, your friend invites her friends. You have double the amount of people invited, double the amount of free stuff, which you then split. A lot of people feel very comfortable saying yes to that because then this party is not all on them. So you will hear hesitations. We don't want to twist people's arms. We want to help them overcome their hesitation. Sometimes I come right out and say, what's your hesitation? If you say it with a smile, you're not one of those pushy consultants. You know, what you don't want to say is, oh, come on. You know you want to have a party. Let's just get this over with. I mean, that does not work for me. And I think if a consultant said that to me, they would never be my consultant. It just doesn't work. You have to find your own voice. You have to find a way that works for you to invite people and help them overcome their hesitations. Worst case scenario, if she said, I'd really like to, but I can't until next month, I will probably say, oh, okay, that's what I'm booking for. And she said, well, I can't pick a date tonight. And you can say, well, that's okay. We just want to make sure that we pick a date before we close out with Susie so that Susie gets credit for your booking. And then I might say, what night of the week is likely to work for you? And she'll say, a Thursday. And I'll say, all right, well, I have 2 Thursdays left. I have the 13th or the 27th. Which one of those are more likely to work for you? And she'll probably pick the 27th because it's further out. And I'll say, how about I pencil you in? If you need to check your calendar when you get home, go right ahead. But let me know if the 27th works because I want to save that date for you and give Susie the extra credit. Then I give her a host packet. So we went from the I don't know to, oh my goodness, I'm co-hosting with somebody and I'm having a party on the 27th. You know, and that's how it's easier to secure bookings. Then at the end of the show, when I'm talking to my host, I'll say, well, Susie wants to have a party. She's thinking about the 27th, you know, and she's going to be asking her friend Sally to co-host with her. So if you see her the next day or so, you know, and I haven't been able to get to reach her, just say, hey, I hear you're having a party on the 27th. That will solidify it to Susie for her, that she knows that Sally's excited about it. Also, think about what you learned about people before the show. Remember when Kathy walked in and I found out that she might have just lost her job and she used to work with our host, Sharon. You can say something along the lines of, you know, you said you had 3 kids. What ages are they? Are they involved in any after-school activities? There's going to be a lot of other parents there that you can invite. So, you know, remember what you heard scuttling around during the party about people's lives. And if they have some hesitations, oh, I know you have 3 kids, they must be involved in sports. You can invite the other parents. Be helpful and help them work through their hesitations. All right, so at the full service checkout, what you want to have is, you want to have host packets. You want to have your calendar. These 2 things right here. This is my host packet. This is my calendar. And you want to have little envelopes with information to give them. And I have these. Every consultant does it differently, but I like to use these really brilliant colored envelopes. And inside these envelopes, there is a little mini catalog. There is my business card. There is information about the new consultant rewards program, because we all love perks and benefits, don't we? There is like a Q&A sort of about what the advantages are about being a consultant. And then there's a join us brochure. Now, I know Stacy Itzel, and I'm going to send you guys this video. She has something similar, but she calls it Think About It. She calls it her Think About It packet. And she has on the front her website. She has, she writes on the front of hers her website. She shows them what portion of the website to go to look into what's in the starter kit, blah, blah, blah. So she has all these things written on the front. But the important thing is setting a date for a follow-up conversation. And I just have these little stickers that say, are you ready for the information that could change your life? Let's talk. And then I will give this to the potential recruit and say something along the lines of, you know, I want you to make an informed decision about whether or not you think this would be a good fit for you. There's a lot of information in this packet. How about I give you a call in a couple of nights to see what questions you have. Then I secure a date and a time with her. You know, it's Thursday at 7 o'clock. Okay, fine. I write that right on there. I hand it to her. I write that date and time in my calendar so that she knows to expect a phone call from me Thursday night at 9 o'clock to go over what's in the packet. I'm going to send you this, I'm going to post this YouTube video that Stacy Itzel does about what she has in her packet. All right, so that is the full service checkout. We talked about making sure you had it all set up ahead of time. We talked about making sure that guests come up one by one. We talked about making sure you start on time so you can actually have that conversation. And we talked about making sure, remember during the whole show, we've informed, now we're inviting. If you're doing Facebook parties, it's the same premise. You are informing during that 7 days of postings and the videos and the recipes and everything. But it's the same thing at the end. You're having a Q&A with the guests and you're inviting them as well. So you can have little, I don't know if Mary does this with you, but you can have them fill out little Google Docs. Do you do that? Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah, I do that on Friday, and for everyone that fills one out, I do a drawing.
Yeah,
So
cool.
they get a free little gift. Usually it's something small like a citrus peeler or a toaster tong.
Okay, yeah. So that gets them to fill it out so that you know exactly what interest they have. So that's your full service checkout. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the recording on this. And then